So, as Rita was saying now, every time you finish a session, so you can hear me, every time you finish a session, you actually give the girls homework for the next session. So once we finish the previous session, which was about courageous leadership, you ask the girls to go away and prepare a speech, a 2-minute speech on a topic of interest. And that's going to feed into the second part of the Art of Communication session. Communication, I think, again, like Rita says, is a bit like courageous leadership. It's around giving them technical skills. And I think all of us know, and I'm standing here, and yes, I probably do this for a living, but at the end of the day, communication is not an easy thing. I mean, so many of us struggle with, whether it's public speaking, whether it's just being able to get your point across to people. And what I typically like to do is, I think we started the session, I think, when we did the last cohort, was just asking, what are the kind of challenges that you face in terms of communication? And just making them think about, so like I said, communication is not just about public speaking. It's not about having to give a presentation in the classroom. Sometimes communication is as simple as Grace and I communicating. How do I tell her that I like this or I don't like the other? And in this session, these are the kind of things that we're trying to uncover. If you're looking at it from a formal perspective, what it starts to do is gives people tips in terms of the principles that they talk about, which is around clarity. So as I said, if I want to talk to Grace about something I'm unhappy about, how do I do it? How do I get my message across in such a way that she understands what it is I'm trying to communicate? A little bit around persuasion, and then more importantly, so what would I like her to do about it? What would I like to do her to do about it? And in that, I think, if I just look, as I said, the key principles: clarity, persuasion, and then inspiration. And I think sometimes we might get caught up in terms of how do I inspire? And honestly, I think not in every speech are you wanting to inspire someone. Not in every piece of communication is about inspiration, but it's making sure your message is understood. The important thing, I can't stress it enough, new mentors, is get the ladies, get the mentees to watch the videos. What I found really difficult is, we're talking about the art of communication. How do you communicate on something somebody hasn't watched? They have no idea what you're talking about. It just makes the session a lot more difficult. One of the things we found is that people struggle. They don't have access. Sometimes some of them, they just don't have enough data. Maybe they don't have a laptop. It's around yourselves as mentors, finding ways to make sure that the mentees benefit from the program. So even if it means, you sort of ask them, are you in groups? Who can I get the video to? How can you watch it? Because otherwise, I think they miss a lot of the learnings. So it's just trying to find ways that you can make sure they benefit fully from the information or the material that we're giving them. So it's important to watch the video. It's a 15-minute video that is quite poignant in terms of the points that he puts across. When he starts to talk about the concept, so he's teaching people know your audience, and that's quite critical, because if you want people to understand, you must gauge, who am I talking to? Do I ramp it up? Do I dumb it down? Be very clear about who your audience is. Know what it is that you're trying to say. Understand that people are motivated by different things. If we take an example this morning, somebody gave when they were introducing themselves, and the point that we just spoke about, that we all became very quiet. It's when you understand your audience, and we're all talking about how do I need to make an impact. I think as we were told, introduce yourselves, I think we all sat there thinking, okay, so who's sitting in here? How do I make an impact? It's by really trying to ask the girls around, in the first part, what are the challenges that you face in terms of communicating? And again, sharing the stories, what challenges have you experienced maybe when you've had to communicate? What are some of the things that went wrong? I remember last year we had Pearl Lutuli coming, giving us really poignant information about our own experiences in the workplace, getting into an environment where everybody speaks Afrikaans and you don't. But you're still tasked to get your message across. How do you do it? One of the things that was really valuable, and I'm kind of going up and down, but one of the things that was valuable is once you've understood what are those challenges, if there's an opportunity, because there's always a practical component, get the girls to experience something. So we did something around communication with your mother. These are young girls. Sometimes your mother can be your biggest supporter, but she can be your biggest pain as well. Because again, like I said, the generational differences, sometimes you think this and the mother thinks it should be said a different way. So we did quite a little skit around, a little role play around somebody wanting to go out. You use what's pertinent to the girls, what makes sense, what issues they have challenges with, whether it's boyfriends, whether it's, you know, the kind of friends they associate with, and try and do a role play around that because it just makes it a lot more real. Okay. And I think we also did in that session, I think something quite formal we did. I think that was the one where we did the interview as well, and Foro participated because it's really things that the girls are struggling with. I'm about to go for an interview, I need funding, whatever it is, whatever their challenges are, how do you take it into a role play? You can get the mentors to participate, you can get the mentees to participate. So that's almost like the first part. Thereafter, what you want is, it's about skills transfer. You want the girls to practice, and that is where the homework comes in. You've been asked to do a speech, a 2-minute speech. Can you come knowing what the principles were? Can you get volunteers in the group who can come up, and then in the plenary session we got 2 or 3 volunteers to come up and do exactly the same thing. So just by way of example, just to show you how it's done, I've already prepped my volunteer, and so I'm going to ask Natasha to come up and see if she can then just do something to practice those principles. So remember what we're trying to do, use your audience, know your why, what is it that you're trying to sell, and then tell the story and your call to action. Let's see how Natasha does it.
What if I fail?
So, and she asked a very important point. What if she fails? So what? That is part of the learning. And that's what we want to say. It's okay to fail. We're here to help each other.
Children have a right to dignity. It was a basic human right. So I would like to call in anyone who is willing to collaborate on this, to expand this project, be it in providing books, be it in providing sanitary towels. If you know someone who works at Lillette's or Tampax or whatever it is, or you know someone who would be willing to donate roll-on, underwear, whatever it is, if you'd like to work with the foundation, please get in touch with me.
Thank you so much, Tash. That was excellent. So again, guys, that's what it's about. Everybody will do it differently, the same way that you're going to see all of us that are presenting sessions will do it differently. The important thing is, are we practicing the principles or giving them a chance to practice the principles in the video? And what you do is, after somebody's given their speech, how do they quit? How well was it done? What could you have done differently? We're not going to do that obviously now, in the interest of time. I just want to close with saying, just remember, all of us know that quotation. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. And that's precisely what it's about.